Fight on, family. Preston's Paradise here, and we are definitely embarking on the biggest game of the season this Saturday. USC, Michigan in the Los Angeles Coliseum, and a lot is on the line, man. Lincoln Riley's tenure, this is a big one for him. After that heartbreaker in Ann Arbor last year, I was at that game. Definitely weren't able to finish that one off, but hey, opportunity this year at home against one of the Big Ten's most iconic brands, the Michigan Wolverines. College football playoff implications at stake, as well as conference standing, man. Can USC bounce back after that loss to Illinois just a couple weeks ago? I think so. Let's get into the preview. Now, this Michigan offense is very similar to all of the Michigan offenses that we've seen over the past 5+ seasons, right? These guys want to go inside zone. They want to get the running game going. They want to break in. They want to get to the second level. And they're going to use, those experienced big offensive lines and those big running backs, those big athletic backs to do that and win football games. They want to run the ball. That is their number one prerogative, right? And then, sprinkled in, they will do some play action stuff in the pass game. But this is not a team that has a bunch of, crazy guys on the outside. Only 3 Michigan players throughout the entire season have a receiving touchdown. And Samaj Morgan with 16 receptions on the year, Donovan McCulley with 19 receptions on the year, and Marlon Klein, the tight end, with 11 receptions on the year. Those are their top 3 receivers. Bryce Underwood, right, freshman quarterback just coming in, has shown, some nice things early in his college career. Hell of an athlete. Is a better thrower of the ball at this point in his career than he is an actual passer of the ball at this point in his freshman season. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, on the year. Athletic guy, can do damage with his legs, can be lethal in the design runs. Definitely going to have to keep a spy on him at times, especially in those play action situations. But the number one guy that my focus is on, that this USC, defensive staff's focus has to be on coming into this game, is Justice Haynes, right? The Alabama transfer running back, came over from Alabama, has 654 yards in the season, 7.7 yards per carry, and 8 touchdowns, man. This is a guy I've seen him break big runs off against Oklahoma, against a lot of good defenses to start the year. Had a big run against Fresno State, got some big runs off against Wisconsin this past week. And he's a guy, man, that he is lethal, right? If you let this guy break through the line of scrimmage, get to that second level, he is absolutely gone, man. And that's what they want to do. That's exactly what Michigan wants to do. They ran for nearly 150 yards against Oklahoma early in the season. Oklahoma is the number 1 total defense in America. So it is imperative that we're able to do something with this run game and prevent these guys from getting going in the run game, because that's a recipe for them to win a game against us. Now, here's the thing. We weren't able to stop Illinois on the ground, and Illinois was running the ball, 150 yards per game. Michigan at this point is rushing the ball for 253 yards per game. They're averaging 36 carries a game on the ground. So this is what I'm saying. Now, can USC win a game giving up 200+ yards to Justin Haynes, giving up 200+ yards on the ground to Michigan? Can they win a game? Yes. But I believe if we get into a game like we did against Illinois, where it's a shootout and we virtually, can't stop them from running the football, that's when, the penalties, that's when the mental mistakes have to be dialed down for USC to win a game. And I believe we can still win a game like that, where we give up 200+ yards on the ground to a Michigan team. But I certainly don't want to see that. I certainly think that's what we're not going to see on Saturday. I believe the bye week, the abilities of guys to get healthy, the ability of the coaches to, self-evaluate and self-scout this team, this program, this defense is, there's too many minds in there, man. There's too many minds with too much experience. I think we have a game plan, not only for this game, but, in a few weeks when we have a Notre Dame, down the line, where we're able to kind of figure out ways to stop that rushing attack. Would I like to see more, big guys in the game more often? Yes, I would like to see 4 down linemen. I would like to see more 300-pounders getting in the game more, getting more snaps, possibly even starting the games more, right? Not to get that running game going and get those offensive lines lathered up on the other side of the field so that they know they can run the ball on us early in games and just keep it going and tiring out the defense. I want to see more heavier guys out there. I'd like to see more four down linemen, more 3 linebacker looks, more 4-3 looks, and heavier boxes to stop the run. I think that's the formula, right? So hopefully that's what we see this Saturday. In regards to this Michigan wide receiver room, whether it's Samaj Morgan, whether it's McCulley, whether it's, the freshman Andrew Marsh, who's a little bit, more twitchy of a wide receiver, and seems to be, making a few plays here, starting up, kind of ramping up this season. These guys are still building a chemistry with Bryce Underwood. I saw them, they did make some very good individual plays last Saturday in that Wisconsin game. Those guys made some big time catches, flying through the air. Obviously, McCulley can use his size at 6'5". But really what I want to see from our secondary, right? Just don't lose this the game, right? You don't have to be a superhero out here at the cornerback spot, especially if you're a young corner still trying to figure out, your path in college football. Just want guys to play with good technique, right? Don't beat yourself. Understand the alignment. Understand your assignments. I know these guys are able to get away from the game. I know these guys are able to look at film, really study, hone in. I know the staff really had these guys honed in on their assignments, on what these Michigan wide receivers like to do as far as, like when they want to block, when they're going up for passes, kind of these routes and the scheme that, is built out for mostly a team that wants to run the ball a lot. But these wide receivers are definitely going to get some opportunities, right? USC gave up 17 yards per pass against Illinois. And that is something that we cannot continue. I think that will be improved as we get into Saturday. So that is big, but to keep it simple, man, you just want these guys to play with good technique, take good angles, be able to tackle at the second level, and just, be consistent, down in and down out, series in and series out. And, don't beat yourself if you're playing in the secondary. Know your assignment, no mix-ups, right? Just play consistent and sound in the secondary. There's a few things that there's a couple things that made really change for us, right? We see Alex Graham, practicing. There's a possibility that he could start. He could pop into that nickel spot. Now this is a true freshman, but he's a guy that coaches were very high on. Leading into the season, obviously dealt with the injuries up until this point. But if he's able to step in at that nickel spot, and Ramsey is able to go back to the safety, then that could be a positive, right? It seems like it would be a positive, so that could help us as well. And then, just the experience, man. Even these guys that are out here playing against Illinois, a lot of these young corners, they're going to be improved, right? A game like that can do a lot for you in terms of improving and really understanding what you need to be or what you need to do to be successful, at this next level. So I have a lot of faith in these guys, and I think, the bye week, the health of this team getting back is going to, help us be a lot more consistent in the secondary, man. But only time will tell. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I'll speak on this Michigan defense. Solid linebacker play, gritty defense, They're always going to be solid and consistent in the secondary. That's just the identity of this program. It's how they recruit. And they've had years and years to build this up and build up this identity, through the last coach they had, through the coach they have now, who is still on the staff from that staff. And they do a good job defensively, right? The linebacker play, you got Hausman, Jimmy Rolder, those guys, 16 tackles, 17 tackles, a sack apiece. Just solid guys at the linebacker spot. Jayshon Barnum has been, really one of their better weapons on the defensive side of the ball. Number 1 here, has 3 sacks on the season, 12 tackles, was originally a backer, moved to that edge spot and has really been getting after it. And then Moore, number 8 with 12 tackles and 2.5 sacks, is another guy coming off that edge at 265 pounds that likes to get after the quarterback. So the offensive line has really been it's really been a blessing for USC this season, man. It's been one of the better spots, the better position groups. And I'm so happy at this point. This is a positive about this team, man. I am so happy that in week 6 of the season right now, the offensive line, I don't really have much stress regarding the offensive line. I know Elijah Page is back in practice in full pads. Seems like he may be probable heading into this game. But they performed great last week without him, really. I mean, obviously you had the injury to Killian O'Connor. That was unfortunate. But I'm really proud of the way this group has performed and how consistent they've been throughout the season. I think Jada Maava has been sacked one time. He's obviously used his mobility to get out of some tricky situations as well, especially last week, but throughout the course of the season. But I thought they played very well. The guards, the tackles, the center play was fairly consistent, even though John Ray came in there for the first time last week. And this is the benefit, right? I talked about, man. The backup center is a guy that has a ton of experience. Had a very good season at Syracuse, very good career, a lot of experience. And I got a lot of faith in John Ray Reed stepping in here, being the center now until Killian O'Connor gets right. So I think right now we should be able to handle this Michigan State defense. They do not have the talent up front. They're not going to have 2 NFL players on that defensive line like they did last season. But these guys could definitely get after the quarterback. I'm not saying it's going to be easy by any means, but I have a lot of faith in our offensive line. The defensive secondary, right? You got Hillman and Hill. Hill has 11 tackles, four passes defense. Those are their better cornerbacks, defensive backs. And that's just what it's going to come down to, right? I think the USC offense, Wink Martindale likes to blitz, likes to throw these blitzes. He's coming down from that Ravens, mentality where he's going to throw these blitzes and have people standing up and faking and, acting like they're coming. You're not going to know who's coming. He's going to try to get after the quarterback. And Jada Maava, Lincoln Riley, the way this offense has really performed throughout the entire season against the blitz, right? Making the proper decision almost every time, whether it's hitting the guy in a flat, whether it's taking off, throwing the ball out of bounds, man. That could be a proper, avoiding a sack in general, or, just finding somebody downfield for a big chunk play. This USC offense has operated at a great rate, a great clip when operating against the blitz this season, man. So I think if we can run the ball, kind of run the ball, dictate, play a balanced football game, that I have a lot of faith in this offense, right? Number 3rd in the country in passing, even after the bye week, number 17 in rushing after the bye week. The balance is where the success, the success, really happens for this team with 154 passes and 177 rushes on the season, right? More rushes and passes. The balance, the execution on offense from this team has been spectacular this season. And I think, I have nothing I could complain with in that aspect with this offense and how they've really performed. The one thing I do want to clean up, man, is the penalty yards, right? Currently right now averaging 78 penalty yards a game. And this is actually something that has slightly improved, after the Illinois game. Prior to that, we're averaging 85 penalty yards per game. So as the season goes on, I would love to see that number get to that 40-yard mark, 30-yard mark. Those are where, the top teams are really, they're not shooting themselves in the foot, man. They're not making the mental mistakes, man. They're not having the undisciplined stuff happen. You got to get those penalty yards to 30 plus a game, 40 plus a game. And, that can help us a lot, getting off that 78 yards a game mark. All right, my light keys to victory for USC against Michigan, right? And they're very simple, man. I have a lot of faith in this team. I think this team should be undefeated, and I think they would be undefeated if they did everything that I like for them to do on a weekly basis, right? Number 1, take care of the ball. You got to take care of the ball in conference games of these stakes. This is one of the more important things, man. You cannot give away the ball, and when you can take it away, your chances of winning the game drastically improve. So take care of the ball. Limit penalties, man. Like I said, averaging that 78 yards a game with penalty yards. Got to bring that down. We did see an improvement of that in their last game, but want to bring that down as the season continues because that will help us be more successful on both sides of the ball. Stop the run. Like to see a heavier box. I'd like to see heavier lines of scrimmage defensively, right? A lot of those, bigger guys, Kobe Pepe, Ja Jarrett, Keyshawn Silver in there earlier in the game, right? When we get gashed early, coaches, then that's probably the time. Let's bring in some heavier lines of scrimmage. If we start getting gashed early, time and time after again, let's do it sooner than later. Let's act sooner than later and get that box heavy, man. Get that box heavy, maybe with a little help on the back end, but get that box heavy and get that line of scrimmage heavy as well. Tackle. Simply tackle, whether you're a linebacker, whether you're at the second level, a corner, a safety. If you're the first one there, if you're in the flat, the first one there, you got to make the tackle, man. You can't touch the guy. You can't grab at a guy and him go 15, 17, 25 yards down the field because that hurts. And lastly, difference makers, man. I need difference makers to emerge. We are halfway through the season. It's crazy. We're already halfway through the season. This is the time I need the difference makers to emerge, man. The leaders on defense, the Kamari Ramseys, the Eric Gentrys, Braylon Shelby, Cameron Crawford, man, Anthony Lucas, Devin Tompkins, Josh Jarrett. Anybody, bro. We need difference makers to emerge, really cement themselves. We need separation, man. Who's going to be the leader of this defensive line group? Who's going to be the leader of this secondary group, right? Like, let's see that happen, man. I really want to see these guys pop out, show us, who they are. I believe in the guys. This is a team, like I said, I got this team winning 10 games, man. I'm a little behind the 8 ball right now. Certainly, this team that I projected in the offseason should be able to win every conference game at home. I wrote that in. I put that in writing. You feel me? Every conference game at home should be a victory. So that's what it is, man. I think USC comes out here. I think we have a really big bounce back. I thought the time off was good. We get healthy. We really, have a perspective on what we want to be by season's end. And I got the Trojans winning this game 35-21 in the Coliseum, man. I'm going to be in the building. We're going to be going crazy, man. If you're in the building, scream, go crazy, lose your mind. Sold out. Los Angeles, California. It's going to be a movie, guys. Appreciate you guys' support, man. Appreciate you guys for watching the videos, man. If you enjoy the video, like the video. Let's try to get this video over 100 likes, man. Trying to get out to more people. It helps the channel so much. So I appreciate all you guys' support, man. Thanks for rocking with me. And have a good one, guys. Fight on. Let's get this victory on Saturday.